In this video, I'm going to be going over the squad that Papua New Guinea has announced for the Pacific Championships in a few weeks' time. So let's take a look at the full list and then go over a few players to highlight. The Papua New Guinea squad includes Alick Johnston, Benji Kot, Dan Russell, Edwin Ipape, Epel Kapinias, Jack de Belin, Jacob Alick, Judah Rimbu, Junior Rop, Justin Olam, Carl Laybutt, Lachlan Lam, Liam Horne, Nene Macdonald, Nixon Putt, Reese Martin, Robert Darby, Roderick Ty, Valentine Richard, Wellington Albert, and Zach Laybutt. The first player that needs to be talked about is, of course, Lachlan Lam. He's had an absolutely incredible season for the Leigh Leopards in Super League. I've seen him a fair few times absolutely obliterate defences. His ability to open teams up is incredible. He's been so fun to watch and is one of the key reasons that the Leopards have been so strong in Super League this year. Of course, another one of his teammates being Edwin Ipape is someone that I could talk about, but Lachlan Lam is doing insane things in Super League right now, and there's a lot of attention around him coming back to the NRL. The Canberra Raiders are knocking on the door, trying to get him back, even though he recently signed a 2-year extension, I believe, a few months ago. So we'll see what happens with him, but there was a few times I watched him live. Actually, there's just the one PNG game that I watched live against Tonga at the World Cup. He was excellent, absolutely excellent, and that kind of quality for a nation that isn't that far off getting towards the top. Like, to start being in the regular conversations with Tonga and Samoa, England, New Zealand, Australia, they're so close, and having somebody like him that can take PNG to the next level is so important. Of course, there are other players around that team, which I'll get onto, but Lachlan Lam, having the talent and ability that he does at this age, with many more years to go, will be huge for PNG in future tournaments. But this will be a great opportunity to see what kind of production we get from him and to try and take over games and try and dominate. But he's been absolutely excellent, and PNG have a fantastic player on their hands here. So the second player that I would like to highlight is Alick Johnston. Now, he doesn't regularly play at fullback, but I've got a feeling that he will be featuring as the fullback during this championship. Now, I did see him playing at fullback for PNG in the World Cup, and he seemed completely fine there. Now, sometimes it can be a tough transition going from the wing to fullback, and you know, you could be extremely competent in one position, but you just don't quite offer that edge at fullback. I'd say two good examples of this would probably be Nick Meaney. He is an excellent winger, but at fullback doesn't offer exactly what you'd want from a fullback, if you know what I mean. A second example would probably be Ruben Garrick for the Manly Seagulls. He is an excellent winger, extremely good finisher, very reliable, good goal kicker, but then at fullback doesn't offer everything that you'd want from a fullback. Both of them are brilliant players, but you know what I mean. It's not quite the same, and there's a reason why. You know, Tom Trebojevic is the fullback at one team and Ryan Pappenhausen is the usual fullback at the other team. They're not on the same level, but their production is still solid. And this is my main concern for Alick Johnston, is that what kind of fullback are we going to get? Is it somebody that's going to be explosive? I don't necessarily think so. I don't think there's going to be a lot of kind of dummy runs around the back and breaking the line much, but I do think, given his experience, he's going to have some solid ball playing ability. So I think we're going to see a lot of those balls, like looping balls over the top to the centres and the wingers, trying to catch players out that are jamming a little bit too hard. What you'll also get from him, though, on the defensive side is someone that can read the game very well, someone with a lot of competency, calmness, and leadership. And that's huge for any team, anywhere, regardless of how high up they are, or especially how low they are. But Papua New Guinea is a team that, as I said before, is getting close to sort of making movements higher up in the rankings, and having somebody like him with that level of leadership and competency, and someone that can read the game as well as he has, is hugely important for their growth. The final player that I want to highlight for Papua New Guinea is Justin Olam. He was one of the most exciting players to watch at the World Cup last year. I just knew as soon as PNG got him the ball, he was just going to be an absolute menace, and he was. I think very early on in that first game against Tonga, they went at them down the left-hand side, balls with Justin Olam, balls in his left hand, he's fending people off with his right hand, and he's starting to make ways through the defensive line. That is what he does. You know, for someone that's in his late 20s, I think he's 29 years of age, for someone that maybe isn't relying on speed so much, he's willing to put in that effort and that initial burst of pace. He's going to run at you with everything he's got. And, you know, he's a big guy. For someone, you know, centres aren't typically big guys, and he's not tall, but he's still a big guy and uses his strength in impressive ways. And I would liken him to Tony Staggs. He's got that same kind of style. So it's not normally about the steps, but he's looking to get around you, fend you off, and possibly flick that ball off to the winger if possible. And if you let him get through, if you don't bring him down, that's a simple pass on the inside to a scrum half that's in support or a fullback, or to the winger on his outside, you're done. And Justin Olam was an absolute menace. He did that time and time and time again. I believe there was, I think the first potential try that PNG would have scored was off that very same thing, was Justin Olam making a break through the line. I could be wrong on that one. It was disallowed because a player's foot was on the line. I can't remember who played on the wing. I want to say it was Russell, but I'm not too sure. But Justin Olam is a dangerous player, and it's been unfortunate that he's not featured as much as I would have liked to have seen during the NRL, as he was just not included for a couple of weeks, but he's exceptional. High-level professional, one of the elite players in the NRL. Some people might disagree with that one, but I would say, I think really elite level centres can be difficult to come by. And for me, I'd definitely put Justin Olam within that category of elite centres. Maybe not one of the elite players overall in the NRL, but at centre, to get somebody with that level of production and that effectiveness is rare. And as I said, similar to Tony Staggs, he's an absolute beast with the ball. So he's going to cause chaos, absolute mayhem, over and over and over again. So if defences aren't communicating, if centres, second rows and wingers aren't willing to put everything they've got into a tackle, he's just going to waltz right past you. So we'll see what he can do. So that is going to be it for this video. There's certainly a few more that I could have spoken about. Reece Martin is one. I think he's had an excellent season with the Leeds Rhinos. Jack de Belin I could have mentioned, but for me, the one that I would have liked to have spoken about is Roderick Tai. Personally, being a little bit selfish, I'm a Warrington Wolves fan, and we've recently signed Roderick Tai. There was Nixon Putt as well. He was another player during the World Cup that really stood out to me. I would have loved to have signed him, but he was snatched up by the Castleford Tigers. But Roderick Tai is one player that I hope gets regular game time because I want to see him. I just want to. I saw him plenty of times and he was excellent, but I'm hoping that he has a great campaign with Papua New Guinea. There's so many talented players in this team, and as I said, PNG are so close to taking that step up. But I think the most important thing for them in this tournament is dominating. They should be able to beat Cook Islands. There will be some resistance from Fiji, absolutely, but what I'm expecting from this team is dominance, and hopefully we get that because they've got the squad to do it. We've just got to see it done. But that's going to be it. Feel free to like and subscribe if you want to see more content. But thanks very much for watching, and I will see you next time.